Alex, it's the big game week, baby. Super Bowl. We have somehow limped our way here. We started out this season saying that we were going to get this bread. The harvest has not been as bountiful as previously expected. But just like Tom Brady, we're still here, buddy.
I think that you remember how your season ends more than you remember what happened along the way. And I'm at 46% on the year. Obviously, that's a few points lower than I would like to be. I have found that betting on the NFL rigorously is hard. But the good news is that the Super Bowl is also the Super Bowl of betting. And I think this is an opportunity for both of us to get a little bit closer to even for the year and maybe place, some larger bets as people tend to do on the Super Bowl, though please gamble responsibly, and see if we can't walk out of here feeling pretty good about the way we closed up shop.
Absolutely. What we don't feel good about is conference championship weekend and the playoffs in general. 2 and 3 during championship weekend combined for me, divisional and championship weekend, 2 and 10. It has been tough sledding, rough slogging. I'm 61, 72, and 4 on the year, 46% as we come into the last game of the season. But hey, like you said, we're going to get closer to even, and we're going to end the season on a high note. Both of us there's not a lot of consternation between the two of us about how this game is going to go. We'll get to props in a second. But Chiefs are consensus minus 3-point favorite. You may have gotten them at 3.5, or you may see them at 3.5, but it's the Super Bowl. There's not going to be a giant spread here. Chiefs minus 3, and both of us love it.
Yeah, I like the Chiefs minus 3. Currently, it's at minus 120, so obviously you're giving up a bit in terms of value to make that bet on Chiefs minus 3. The reason that I'm confident here is not overly complicated. I guess we're professionals at this, but it does not take a professional to look at Patrick Mahomes, to look at Tyreek Hill, to look at Travis Kelsey, and think these guys are going to score enough points to not only win, but to cover a field goal spread in the Super Bowl. I say that with all due respect, and that's, I think, a lot of due respect to the Tampa Bay defense, which is really good and which has humbled in the last couple of weeks, both Drew Brees, though he isn't quite the Drew Brees of old, and obviously Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship. I think Patrick Mahomes is a different kind of guy at this point in his career. He's just a different kind of guy. I don't know if there's a game plan that really works against him. We haven't seen one in quite some time. And honestly, I think the way that the injuries stack up for Tampa Bay is not favorable. If you look at the Chiefs offense, they have 2 safeties, Antoine Winfield Jr. And Jordan Whitehead, who are not healthy. It seems like Whitehead probably won't play. Winfield kind of on the fence. You expect guys to play because it's the Super Bowl, even if they're on the fence, but you never know how good they're going to be. Levante David has been banged up. Those are not the guys that I would prefer to be banged up if I were about to play like Travis Kelsey. And a basically uncoverable tight end, and suddenly you're going to be working in your depth safeties and linebackers against him. Just not great. I think it's a good recipe for Kansas City, and I'm curious why you feel that the Chiefs minus a field goal is a good play.
Yeah, I just think when it comes down to it, I think the Chiefs can outscore the Bucs. I think the Bucs, that offense sort of has a route one that it takes, right? It goes vertically, and it only really has one speed. I actually think the Bucs are gonna try to throttle this game down. I think the Bucs are gonna run the ball a little bit. I think the Bucs we're going to get a heavy dose of Leonard Fournette. I think that's more going to be the game plan. That's not going to say that they're not going to try to go vertical, but I think around the margins of the game, the Bucs are going to do what they can to sort of keep things under wraps here and not give the ball to Patrick Mahomes more than they otherwise should. I do think the Bucs will have just more drives that stall out, that just don't get all the way to the end zone. And I think they'll kick more field goals in over a 60-minute game. The Chiefs will win the game. But as I say that, I am not going to be surprised if the Bucs win this game. I would have been surprised if the 49ers won last year. The Bucs have a very clear path to win this game. I think they have plenty of paths to win this game, and I don't think it's going to be some giant upset if they do.
No, I think they're an exceptional team, and I think it will be a closer game than the one that these teams played at Thanksgiving time, actually in the same stadium. It's funny, it's effectively a home Super Bowl for the Bucs, where the Chiefs had them at arm's length throughout the game, and then the Bucs battled back for a backdoor cover. I believe that was a profit opportunity for me and a push for you or a loss for you.
Me, indeed.
Hate to see that. That's why you get the right side of the number. But I just think that despite all of the assets that Tampa Bay has, it will be tough sledding, and that's why I feel good about Chiefs -3. But something that you just said, I totally agree with in terms of how the Bucs are going to play this game. I am on the under at a total of 56 in this game, -115. I know that you are also on the under. I agree with you. I think Bruce Arians is going to heavily feature Leonard Fournette in this game. I think that there could be a script in this game where he is running on first down often, and hopes that his big shots are play action shots later in the series. I just don't think that he thinks, and I think he's correct about this, that a shootout is advantageous to Tampa in this game. And I would expect that they try to speed the game up, try to make their drives, even if they aren't scoring touchdowns on them, be drives that take, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes rather than these quick 3 and outs that you're going to have sometimes if you're throwing a ton. And it just seems like all of that is conducive to an under.
Yeah, I agree. And I do think, like, the other thing is it's the Super Bowl and these two defenses have had a lot of time to figure each other out. And the bye week is big. I do think there will be plenty of scoring in this game, but I do think you'll have some drives that just end up stalling out because of the nature of the beast here. And, basically we're saying, can these two teams combine for 8 touchdowns? If this game finishes in the 30s, we're screwed, obviously, by the math of the thing. But I do think this could be a 20s affair for both teams.
And look, it's hard to get a game into the 30s in the Super Bowl. I don't believe it happens often. It doesn't happen often in the NFL because defenses are good and because these teams don't play like college football teams, this freewheeling style. Even the Chiefs, who I think run the most joyful, expressive offense maybe the NFL's ever seen, are not exactly whipping the ball around like a Mississippi State. And thank goodness for that, because Mississippi State didn't have much of a year. So I feel with a total in the upper 50s, and especially with Tampa's defense, even with some injuries being as strong as it is, like it's just going to be tough for this score to get that high. We'll see. And obviously we could look very dumb because these quarterbacks are so good that they sling it around, and you could look up 10 minutes into the game and it could be 10-7 at that point, and you're like, we're moving here. Elsewhere, Richard, this is the Super Bowl. This means we're not just betting on spreads and totals, obviously, because what fun is that? You have a handful of props in this game, specials. Give them to me. I've got a couple, but I think you've got even a few more than I do.
Yeah, we both like the national anthem to go over. That is a big prop for me.
That. Oh yeah,
that is a big prop for me every year. I'm gonna go over. You did the research and have seen where this singer has sung before.
Yes. So this is a duet. The national anthem more commonly is a solo act. This year we have a duet between Eric Church, who sings country music, and Jasmine Sullivan, who does R&B. I feel like the class of genres sort of lends itself to a slower performance. You don't want to rush through something like that when you are doing a collaboration with someone who sings a different type of song. I was in chorus in middle school, Richard. I don't know if you took music classes when you were younger, but you want to be deliberate about it. These two don't work together a lot. They might never work together again. I think you want to savor it. I also think that if you think about the way the NFL presents the Super Bowl and the way it presents itself in this American experiment that we are all living in right now, the NFL wants to be like the patriotic beacon, right? And it's been a pretty bad year in America as far as coronavirus and numerous, let's just say other episodes of recent civil unrest in certain parts of the country, Washington, D.C., that just have made this a tough couple months in this country. I think that the NFL leans in real heavy to like, wow, look at this great soulful national anthem. Like they're going to make it long. There'll be a montage showing a lot of healthcare workers, and you've got to get the troops in, of course, watching from airfields around the globe. I just think they're going to take their time with this thing. I think the over hits, even though we've had sub 2-minute anthems the last 3 years. So Jasmine and Eric, if you're watching this, take your time, get us to 2 minutes or above and pay this out for me, please.
Yeah, I'm interested in this because it's not going to be packed, right? There's not going to be 70,000 people here. There will be 22,000, I think it is, but there will not be 70,000 people here. So I don't know if you'll have that adrenaline, like amped up thing. I don't know if we're going to race through this from either of them. And like you said, the two singers, clash of styles. Maybe you want to be deliberate about the pacing of it. Also, Eric Church may have an instrument here, so that adds another bit of. That. It adds another bit to the proceedings. I hadn't looked at where national anthems have been at over the last few years. I have it over.
I can tell you.
Go ahead, please.
The last couple national anthems have been in the 150-ish range. They have fallen short of the 2-minute mark. If you remember a couple Super Bowls ago, there was a controversy because the song stopped and then restarted.
Yes.
Some books paid out both the over and the under. Last year was an easy under hit, and I had that one. And I think I've bet on the under twice, and I've won both times. But I just have a feel about the over this year. I think that Jasmine and Eric are going to go long.
Okay. I have some funky other props in this game. The one that I think I'm swinging on, and there may be more as the week goes on, who knows, but the one I'm really swinging on is Sammy Watkins' first catch of the game plus 500. Hey, sure. It's out of nowhere. Why the hell not? It's a Super Bowl. As the game script goes, maybe Sammy Watkins sort of comes out of nowhere and it's a Sammy Watkins game. So who knows? I also have first offensive play by anyone to be a pass at plus 100. Obviously, the game script, come out of nowhere, do something funky. Distance of the first field goal of the game under 36.5 basically means somebody's going to get to the red zone first drive, or somebody's going to get to the red zone at some point in time, hopefully early in the game. And when they kick that field goal, if they kick that field goal, it'll be under 36.5. And the shortest touchdown of the game, I have over 1.5 yards. So no 1 yard touchdowns in this game. That's at plus 150. The field goal prop is minus 150.
Interesting. For me, I have a player prop here, Travis Kelsey for at least 9 catches at minus 114. Check your respective prop builders at your various sports books. He had 21 catches in the first 2 playoff games. Obviously, 9 is a massive number of catches for a tight end in the National Football League. It very rarely happens. It pretty rarely happens even for Travis Kelsey, though he has done it in this playoffs. The thing is that if you look at the Chiefs' offensive line, it's not particularly healthy. Some of their receivers are banged up. I think that with the offensive line in particular not being healthy, you might see some dump-offs. Travis Kelsey is Mahomes' preferred target in the short and intermediate areas of the field. Obviously, anything longer than that, he can look at Tyreek Hill or Mecole Hardman or Sammy Watkins, etc. It's an embarrassment of riches. But I think he prefers to dump the ball off to big number 87. And I would expect that the Buccaneers will be able to generate enough pressure that he feels the need to get rid of it quickly, at least a few times in this game. I think that juices Kelsey's receptions total, and he gets to 9 catches.
Interesting. Okay, I dig it. Yeah, I dug in pretty good for these props. I will be really up and down on these props hopefully later in the week. Maybe we'll add a couple more for the game goes. Watch my Twitter space.
Oh, sure.
For that. Alex Kirshner, it's been a season. I don't know if it's been a good season. It's been a season. And we learned a lot this season. We grew. We didn't exactly grow our billfolds, but we grew as people. We grew as people who understand the game of football, hopefully, and the game of gambling.
Absolutely. I hope we never have another football season like this one in terms of playing it through a pandemic. Would love for that to be solved. Please get your vaccines if you can. But you know what? I've had a lot of fun doing this with you and with all of you who have been watching. Thank you so much. And hopefully we can close this thing in the bread factory where we wish we would be every week and where we have been some weeks and where I think we can be again.
Absolutely, big guy.